Hi everybody, welcome to Reef Talk. I am Patrick from Patrick's Dive and Reef. We have Steve from RudderTube and we have Scott from Mile High Reefers. Today we are going to talk about filtration. Basically just give a little rundown of what each of us have in our tanks running filtration. So we might start with Steve today.
Hey, how you guys doing? Thanks for tuning in. As you may or may not know, Reef Talk is every Sunday, and we like to have guests on the show. If you'd like to be on the show, drop us a line at any one of our websites. Websites.
YouTube channels.
Hello. I have a website, routertube.com, but YouTube channels. See the description below. So I'm Steve with RouterTube Reef, and for my filtration, I like the simplistic. Now, to stress, what filtration you use is up to you. Don't follow anyone in particular unless you really like the idea of what they're using. Don't do it just because someone says to do it. Every tank is different, and what works great in one person's tank will not or may not work the same way or better or worse, whatever, in your tank. So after trial and error and different things, this is what currently works really well in mine. And I chose to have really no reactors, no mechanical filtration, basically just empty. And in fact, a few months ago, I tried running it with absolutely nothing, just a protein skimmer, and that is it. And it was okay, but my nitrates were higher, and that's because my skimmer was a little lower and lower rated for the tank that I have. So what I'm using right now is all the water flows out of the main overflow, which flows out the bottom of my tank, which is a reef-ready tank. There's holes drilled in the bottom of the glass. For those of you who don't know what that is, the water flows out of the aquarium into the sump below, which is the mini aquarium underneath your aquarium that's hidden in the cabinet. And I've got instead of using a sump sock, I don't like cleaning them anymore, so they're gone, they're history. I'm using the rotor tube. You guys have seen videos on that. I designed it. And I've got a 5-micron rated piece of foam in the rotor tube. It does a great job at catching a lot of that garbage and crap. After it flows out of the rotor tube drain, it goes right into the sump and is met by my eShop's S200 protein skimmer. And I had an S120, and that was doing a really good job, but the S120 is only rated for a 120-gallon tank, so I was breaking even. You always want to get a protein skimmer that's rated above what your tank is. So I've got one now, as of this week, that's rated for 200 to 250 tank. And now it's really doing a good job on keeping that water crystal clear. And it's healthier for the corals and the fish. After that, that's it. It flows into the last chamber, and it gets pumped out of the sump into the main display tank using Rio Plus pumps. I like Rio Plus a lot. That's it. So rotor tube and S200 eShop's protein skimmer. I also have in the sump, which barely fits because the protein skimmer is too big, I've got my DIY build-it-yourself biopellet reactor with biopellets. So instead of sugar dosing or vodka dosing to keep nitrates lower, I'm using my build-it-yourself biopellet reactor. Nitrates are at 0. The thing is damn awesome. And that's Scott talked me into that. He goes, "You gotta have try a biopellet reactor." I'm like, I don't know. I don't want anything else in my sump. I just want really simple. I don't want to have another pump and another reactor. But I tell you what, damn awesome. So thanks to Scott. That's it. That's all I got. So Patrick,
What
what
were
do you?
your
Oh,
nitrates at before you
that's a good
started
question.
using the biomeds?
Great question. I have very little rock. I added another inch of sand, but because of the lack of rock, I had a marine pure block, which is now out. That is now in my quarantine tank, 75-gallon quarantine, to keep the ammonia down, and that's doing a great job. Those of you who have been wondering, cupramine will not affect that. So that was sitting in my sump for about 3 months. So it's got enough bacteria to take care of everything in that quarantine tank. So that's awesome. Use the marine pure stuff for that. But then Patrick, yeah, man, they were like 60 to 80 nitrates, dude.
That's painful.
Yes. it just spiked up there. Nothing died. Oh, you know what? I did find. I don't think this is going to spike it up that much, but in my overflow, I found a dead snail. I couldn't see him. He was in shadows, and it was a larger one. So
Oh yeah.
it died. I don't think it's going to spike it up that much, but
No.
I
um,
don't think so.
but and then I also didn't clean um my return pumps, and they were pretty messy and filthy. I didn't clean them for like 6 months, and there's a lot of crud in there, so I cleaned those. But yeah, I could not get it lower than 50. But sugar dosing, after sugar dosing for a week and a half, they were at 0. But I had to sugar dose
Yeah.
uh, every day, sugar in the sump every day. But now with the better protein skimmer and biopellet reactor, I don't have to do anything, and it's 0.
Set it and forget it.
Yeah, it's nice, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Might
about
have to
60.
invest in one of those
Could
instead.
not get it down below 60. It would not go. If I wasn't sugar dosing, it wouldn't go. And my bio load is larger, as you guys know. I've got all tangs now. I just added 2 more tangs. So I'm going to do a nitrate test in a week after these guys are in here, and I'll let you guys know what it is. But if it's at 0,
Fantastic.
I think it's going to be at 0 still, to be honest. But so that's what I'm doing. Simple, clean, less maintenance, no mechanical. By the way, when I was using mechanical filtration, foam blocks and that, very important to clean your sump socks every 3 days or replace them every 3 days. Um, clean that foam block every 3 days. I was cleaning mine with my weekly water change, my foam block, rinsing it out, putting it back. You got to, because it's a nitrate factory otherwise. Same with canister filters. You gotta clean them once a week. That's it for me for now. Patrick, what are you running for your filtration system? And what size is your tank?
Yeah, well, my tank is 120 gallons, and I'm kind of on the same boat in terms of sump socks. I was using them for a few months, and I just found that I was cleaning them nearly every day. They would be great to start off with for the first couple of uses, but then they just got clogged and they got harder to clean every time. So I got rid of them, and now I do a much simpler version where I have a bottle that's cut with an opening at the top, and then I put in a bit of filter floss into it, and then that catches all the dirt that goes down into the sump, and then I can take this every couple of days and just chuck it out into the bin and put in a new piece. So I get a brand new piece of floss every couple of days, and I find that works just as well as a sump sock for mechanical filtration.
And it's nice because
Then I also
you
have
don't have to clean anything. You're just throwing that away.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. It's so easy, and it only takes a little bit of floss to work. At the start, I'd put a load in there, but I just found over time that you can just put in a little piece, and it works just as well. So on top of that, then I have my protein skimmer, which is an Aqua One G220, which is rated for, I think it's rated for about 200, probably 220 gallons, going by the name, but it doesn't feel like it's rated for that. I think it's not really good enough for my tank. So
Oh
I've been
wow.
thinking about a new protein skimmer for a long time now, but haven't quite got there yet. So sticking with it for the moment. And then other than that, then it's just all my live rock. I've got, I don't even know how much live rock I have in there, about 60 kilograms or so. And no sand. I went bare bottom a while ago.
You still loving
And
that?
yeah, loving it definitely. Yeah, it's so easy to clean. Just the Tritus sits on the bottom of the
Yeah.
tank, and then I just
I,
siphon it out every
See?
couple of
That
days,
Yeah, that's
and it's so
awesome.
easy.
So,
Yeah.
real quick, I want to ask. So, are you finding that your nitrates are lower with the bare bottom all glass?
My nitrates at the moment are pretty low. Yeah, they're at 4 when I tested them the other day, so that's pretty good. Um,
When you had sand, were
so
they a
they
little higher? Were they a little higher when you had sand, or no? Were they still around 4?
they had crept up to about 8, but I'm
Okay,
not
so
sure if that was what was causing it. It could have been that, I think it was more so that the protein skimmer wasn't working effectively.
And what else? What else do you have? So you've got your. By the way, in the description of the video, I'm going to put a link to Patrick's cool video on his homemade DIY filter that he's talking about. It's really,
Oh yeah.
really good. We're really well done. So after that, what do you have? Where does the water go after that? What do you got?
There is a small bit of macroalgae in the sump as well. Just a bit of Shato, is it Cheeto, Shato, whatever, however you pronounce it, I don't know. But it's the green spaghetti algae, and that takes out a bit of the nitrates and phosphates from the water as well. Not really sure how much it takes out, to be honest, because there isn't a whole lot of space for it in there. I've read that some people reckon you need a tank the size of your own tank to effectively reduce nitrates that way, but I don't know. Every little bit helps in it in the reef tank, I think. So, and if nothing else, it's a place for little critters to grow and thrive as well, and they can
Yeah,
go.
That's what I
definitely.
love
Yep.
about the refugium.
Yeah,
That's why I'd
Keep
like to
those
start
pods
one.
up.
Yep.
yeah. Very easy. Just a light inside my stand, and I threw in some algae into one of the sections of the sump, and every few weeks I take a few handfuls out, and yeah, it's pretty handy. Other than that, then that's it. So just the filter floss, the refugium, the protein skimmer, and the live rock.
Fantastic.
I was gonna ask, what do you guys think about? Well, I know it needs light, but what do you think about utilizing your overflow chambers? You know, my tank has two. Scott's, you have two, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you'd
two.
have two. Patrick, yours has two?
No, just one.
Just one, okay. Um, what do you guys? There's got to be a way. I'm thinking to utilize those chambers. Like, what if you put like a light on the side of it, and maybe what if you put like the Chato or Cheetos or whatever the hell you want to call it in there? Because you know what I toyed with a little bit. I was talking to Scott about this. What's really to prevent you from, instead of a biopellet reactor, what if you just put the biopellets in the overflow there? Maybe you put them in like in a little cage, small enough where they can't get out, and you just put that in your overflow. That sounds like a good idea to me. I've not tried it, but why wouldn't it work, right? I know you have to tumble them just so they don't stick together, but right? I would think that
So
would work.
I'm paranoid about anything that could clog my overflows. So mine already gets enough light that
How about a
algae
mesh
built in
bag?
there.
A mesh bag or something to put those biopellets in.
Yeah, you just want to make sure you keep it away from those overflows, right? So nothing can clog them.
Yeah,
Last
just
thing you want to
drop them in so they hit the bottom of the glass in your overflows.
assuming they don't get stirred up too much, but
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, I'm just super paranoid about overflowing my tank. If something's to clog that up, then I get scared.
Or
'Cause-
put them in some pantyhose or something and then just tighten them and
Yeah.
drop the bag so they hit the bottom of the glass in the overflow. I don't know.
As far as using it as a refugium, I think it already kind of works as a natural refugium. Mine's growing algae in there. I guarantee that thing's full of pods the way it is.
Yeah.
I think since the fish can't get back there, there's a lot of stuff moving in and out of there. So I think we're getting a lot of effect there from a refugium type effect coming from those. I'm real cautious about putting anything that could clog them, because the last thing we want to do is overflow the display.
Right. Yeah.
I found in my overflow as well that there is a lot of algae growing down the glass where the water flows down, almost
Yeah.
like a natural algae turf scrubber.
Yep.
Just going down, and every now and again I just get my blade for the glass and slice it down, and
Yeah.
it affects in the sump. I take it out, so it's pretty cool.
Okay. I was just trying to
But
think of
I have sunlight coming from behind my tank, so that kind of
good.
lights up. Yeah, it lights that up naturally for me.
Yeah, but I think you're kind of on the right track. I like these outside the box ideas. I've seen stuff where people have actually had custom tanks where they build a section on the back and have that kind of as a refugium, so that you can also buy hang on the backs. But I think it starts getting really cool when you put a refugium above or behind the tank, so that the inverts aren't getting killed by the pump.
Yeah. Right.
So it's real cool to have that happening between your display.
So, so I wanted to ask, because I've never had a refugium, and the more we've been talking about it, like Patrick said, it seems like you've got to have a larger refugium to take
Yeah.
care of the nitrates, right? But I'm using the biopellet reactor, but um, I would have a smaller one just to house the little critters. So, well, since I've never had one, what kind of lighting do you need for that? Like, do you need anything? Can you just have like a light bulb, or I mean, do you need like special lighting, or
CFL, LED, low power, nothing special. Just go
okay,
to Home Depot, Lowe's,
Just
whatever.
a standard CFL
Yep.
bulb.
And I think actually you're better off being on the like 2000K side of the par range. The bright yellows, I think, do better for the algae. I'm
okay,
running 55s on mine, but yeah, I don't think it's a big deal. You're trying to grow algae.
yeah, okay, with the
I,
Chaeto in there, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I've had a couple of different lights on mine. Just I just tried them just to see if there was any difference, and I didn't see any difference at all. So
Yeah.
yeah, any light at all will do for your refugium.
And how often do you clean that refugium out? Like, because you clean it out and throw away the extra, right?
Yeah, well, every
Because it multiplies or
every
whatever.
few weeks, I suppose I can take out a little bit, and you can sell it online as well. People buy it, so
Hmm,
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, and then after that, what else do you have, Patrick? Like, where does it go after that? Because I think
Um,
I interrupted you, right?
no, yeah, I've gone through my whole
You're done.
system there. I think, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Right. I can't remember. No mechanical filtration after that. No foam block or anything. It just goes right into
No,
the. Okay. Yeah, you're pretty
that's right.
simple like mine. Okay, that's cool, and that simplicity works great. Scott, what do you got?
All right. So I've got a 210 reef ready tank. I've set up my drains differently. There's two holes in each side. I'm running basically four drains off of that. I've got just kind of did that for future plans, which are hopefully coming soon. So from there, it's going down through a rotor tube, and I've kind of changed the way I'm running my rotor tube right now. I've switched to more like that foam block style pad, and then I'm putting a bag of carbon below that, which is kind of giving me the more micron, the lower micron through the bag, and then I'm getting the carbon chemical filtration happening there. And I've stopped running the carbon in the reactor. This is just something I'm trying. So far, I've been doing this for 2 or 3 weeks now. It's working fantastic, and I'm really liking it because your carbon's only good for 3 or 4 days, which is about how often I have to clean out my rotor tube. So every 3 or 4 days, I'm just replenishing my carbon. Same time I'm cleaning out my rotor tube, and so I've always got good carbon in my system. It's a smaller amount than I was running before, but I'm changing it a lot more often. So I think it's actually a much more effective way to run it so far.
That's cool.
So from there, it's draining down into my sump. My sump's like a sheep tank. It's 6 feet by 2 feet. Literally says sheep tank on it. It's a stock tank like an animal would drink out of. I got it at a local farm store years ago. And I've got it kind of divided up into two sections. One's where everything's returning, and it's the refugium section. Then I've got a piece of egg crate that stops the algae from moving into the return section where the return pump's pulling it out. And that section's the effective refugium section's about 3 feet by 2 feet. I've just got what I call volunteer algae in there right now. I put some Chaeto in there a couple years ago, and there's like 6 strands of it left. I think it's because my nitrates are so low it doesn't do well. But there's enough other algae that are thriving off all the crap that just washes down there that's what's growing. So I'm just letting that do its thing. And from a nitrate reduction standpoint, I think my bio pellets are pretty much taking care of it. So I'm not getting much benefit there. Where I think I get the huge benefits are from the pods. There's just so much life down there. There's also a big starfish after yesterday, little bastard. went cannibalistic on my other starfish. So yeah, I got that, and then I've also got a reactor that I'm running some GFO media in to keep the phosphates down. The biopellets take out some of the phosphates, but I just run GFO. This stuff lasts a long time. I switch it every few months at this point, and I never have phosphate show up on a phosphate reading. So that's working out really well. My return pump is a Panworld 200 PS. It's too small, so I've got plans to buy a bigger one. Got a birthday coming up, so hopefully I can make that happen. I'm going to get a big reflow pump. I've got an AquaSea EV 1000 skimmer. Now, so that's rated for a tank up to 1,000 gallons.
Oh my God.
Which is kind of what you need when you've got a total system volume of 450 gallons. Because I've got the sump, and then I've got the 2 frag tanks. So to power all that, I need a really big pump. So right now I'm kind of running low.
So that's good. I didn't know that. So you've got it all plumbed together, right? Right.
Yeah, it's
so the
all plumbed together.
Protein skimmer's doing the work for everything. Your frag tank and everything, right?
Everything, yep. So
Okay.
one protein skimmer, everything, all that filtration runs the frag tanks, it runs the display, it
That
does
makes sense.
all of it. So I got basically 3 different tanks, but it's one system to manage. So it's
Wow.
really easy maintenance.
Where is that?
A lot easier.
Yeah. Where's that protein skimmer sitting? Is it in the sheep?
It's external.
Oh, it's external. Okay.
Yeah, that's part of why I like the AquaSea protein skimmers. They're, from a power usage standpoint, they're not very efficient. You got to have a massive pump to run it. But you can run them external. And the other cool thing about the AquaSea EV skimmers is you're putting huge volumes of water through there. When I get a new pump, it'll be about 2,000 gallons of water going through there an hour. So where a regular skimmer, you're filtering a smaller portion of your tank every hour, this thing will be doing 4 times my sister system's volume going through that skimmer every hour. So it really gets a chance to pull every bit of crap out of there.
Wow.
So that's what I like about those skimmers, but they're expensive to buy, they're expensive to run from the power usage, and then you got to have an expensive pump to run it. So that's the downside to the AquaSeas, but for me, the benefits are kind of outweighing the cost. Plus, when you start getting into big skimmers and you want to go external, you get into huge costs, and I found this thing used cheap, so
Okay, well that's
that makes a difference.
wow. So now your sump, the sheep animal feed tank, whatever, the trough, that's in your basement,
Yes.
and your aquarium is upstairs. So
Yep.
that pump has got to pump like what, 10, 15 feet up?
Right. And it's
20 feet?
It's
Something like
about it's 15, 14 feet, something like that.
So is it struggling, or is
So
it working out, or is that struggling, that pump?
no, it's when you buy a pump, you got to find something that can handle a lot of head pressure,
Yeah.
which the 200 PS can. It's the reason I'm looking at one of the big reflow pumps as opposed to some of the new DC pumps out there. DC pumps are great, but they don't usually handle the head pressure as well as the AC pumps. So that's one thing I'm looking at. There's a couple reflows out there. There's I think it's the Hammerhead / Barracuda that does like a 23-foot head pressure, does 6,000 gallons per hour, something like that. Then there's the Manta Ray, which does 5,400 gallons per hour, but has a 54-foot head pressure. Downside is to get that really high pressure pump, you're using twice the electricity. So right now I'm trying to figure out, am I better off going with the lower head pressure? Because I only need to pump about 1,000 gallons upstairs to that tank. So 70-80% of it's going to stay down in the basement. So I don't know if I really need that much head pressure or that much flow.
Probably not.
And if it's worth the electricity plus the manta ray pumps, about $100 more. And then there's one above that that does like 8,400 gallons an hour, which is only like $25 more. So
No, yeah, but you don't need that.
I don't really need it,
Plus
but
the electric bill, man. You know.
well, yeah, that thing consumes about 1,000 watts of power. Where
Yeah.
where
Screw
the
that.
reflow one I was talking about, it's more like 300.
My
So
God. Yeah.
so I'm so the hammerhead that's
No.
kind of the direction I'm leaning right now.
No. Things.
Lower power consumption.
Yeah. You got to take that into
It's still
consideration.
6,000 gallons an hour, which should run my system pretty well.
Right. Even if it was the same price, or even $100 cheaper, I would not take the highest powered one because in the long run, you're going to get screwed.
Well, part of what I'm looking to do is to build my top frag tank into an anemone tank. So I want to have a big, powerful pump so that I can create really good flow inside that tank so that I don't have to have power heads in there because I have power heads in my current frag tank.
Yeah.
And I have to have some sort of filtration around the power head. So right now it's actually the outside of a canister filter and it just fits perfectly around the power head with a rubber band around it. So the anemone can't get up in there, but you got to clean that like every day or two. It's just so annoying. So by having the flow coming off the main pump, the idea is I could run that without ever worrying about sucking an anemone in and destroying it. So, another part of why I want a big pump is so I can run a couple thousand gallons an hour through there. Which then gives me the flow to the tank down below too. So
Right. Well, that's awesome. You got a lot more than we do, but then it's a lot more. Well, not maintenance, but just I don't know. That's some cool hardware right there. That's serious.
yeah, it's only taken 4 years to get here. That's how this is all works, right? You
Yeah,
just
I
build.
know. You know, when I started in the saltwater aquarium, it's like I've heard it's expensive, but nah, it'll be all right. I just won't go crazy. And I didn't. I mean, I did, but I didn't. I'm kind of drawing the line where I'm at. I'm in a good spot right now. Unless I get eventually like a 240 gallon like what I want, but that's not going to be for a little while. But yeah, that's cool. You know what? I kind of miss my 28 gallon nano cube that's in the basement here. I liked that thing a lot. That was a lot of
Set it
fun.
up again.
You should set it up. Get some coral in there.
I think
Get
I
down
may.
there.
Yeah, you know what? When the weather breaks, I'm really gonna clean it out because that was my original quarantine tank, and I want to make sure that all copper's out of there.
Yeah.
Wash it down, vinegarize it, and just maybe put some nice coral in there. And once everything's settled, I'll put maybe a pair of clowns in there, and just that'll be awesome.
Yeah, my wife's got a 5 gallon she's set up. She's loving that
Nice.
tank. And I am actually impressed at how much I like such a little tank. It's
Yeah.
doing just so incredibly
fun.
well. And it's so cheap to set up. I got to do a
Yeah.
video on it, but the thing looks great. And I think I got less than $200 in it, fully stocked with coral and live rock and everything.
And you know what I was doing? I was doing like a weekly or a bi-weekly 5-gallon water change on that 28-gallon nano cube, which after the sand
Yep.
and the rock, I think I had maybe, I don't know, 18 gallons in there. So I was doing like a 30% water change every 2 weeks. That's why I never had any nitrates.
Yeah. Yeah, we're doing 20% weekly right now, which on a 5 gallon tank is a gallon.
Yeah, right.
So what it takes to do the water
That's
change
great.
is you siphon out a gallon of water, dump it down the drain, and then go walk over to my sump and grab a gallon of water out. It's 5 minutes at the most.
No, you guys gave me a good idea, and now I just got to find out where I'm going to put this tank now. I don't know where I want to put it, because you know what I might want to get is just make like a clown tank. Maybe put like a really nice pair of, maybe, what do they call them? Snowflake clowns?
They're fantastic.
Maybe I'll do that. And then just have like a couple shrimp, and that's like it, right?
That'd be great. Yeah, we just bought 2 clowns yesterday. I broke all my own rules and
Maybe
didn't
one
use
anemone.
quarantine.
Maybe one anemone, because there's no pumps for them to climb into and get shredded by. And maybe they'll host it like Patrick's. That last video you did, or not last, but it was like a few months ago.
Yeah,
It took some time, but they finally hosted it. That looks awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 6 months or more for them to even look at the anemone. But
And now
they're in it
they're
now,
in it
so we have.
regularly. They are in it like
Oh yeah, yeah. Both of them are in it all the
that's
time now.
awesome.
It
That's
might
awesome.
help. It might help getting them to host in a small tank where there's only a few places to hide, and there's that anemone there. It's gonna be a lot harder for them to miss it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that. I'll put some. I'll take maybe a couple pieces of live rock out of my display tank since it's already got the bacteria on it. Be easier to cycle. See, I don't have to buy any live. I've got a whole bucket of dead rock. So all right, so that'll be the next project. I just have to find a cool place to put this thing. My wife will love it because it's another fish tank in the house. But whatever. Wow, this is getting out of control.
Fantastic.
I'm gonna be like a crazy cat lady, crazy fish person, out of control.
Yeah, it's okay.
Well, I guess that's it for this episode of Reef Talk. Thanks for joining us, you guys. It's every Sunday. Don't forget to check out Patrick's channel, Patrick's Dive and Reef, Scott's Mile High Reefers, and then, mine, Rotter Tube Reef. Check all information in the description below. So we'll see you guys next Sunday. All right? Take care.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.